Oh, we have a bogey coming in on your 6. Don't worry, I got this. So how far did you say that bogey was out? He should be showing up right about now. Aha! Huh. Somehow I feel a little ill-prepared now. Hey guys, welcome to Super Important Reviews. My name's Steve, and in this review I'll be going over the robots, the Robot Spirits, Robot Damashii Nation, Gundam Heavyarms Custom. He is from the anime Gundam Wing. If you guys seen it, you really are missing out because this anime is awesome. Really love the fight scenes, the animation, the story's really good. All the characters are interesting and different between each other. Same with the Gundams, just really makes for a very interesting story, at least for me personally. And also Gundam Wing was the anime that really actually got me into anime. Because I see some Dragon Ball Z a little bit and was kind of intrigued, but not really anything to make me want to go actually out of my way to actually watch this stuff. But when Gundam Wing showed up on Toonami back when they played animes, and all really good animes, checked out this show and just fell in love with everything. And Heavyarms from that show is my favorite of all the Gundams. Just overall my favorite coloring, the way he looks, his overall fighting style, and Troy Barton was actually a really interesting character. I'd like to thank Travis for letting me borrow this figure because I actually don't own any of the Robot Damashii Nation figures in my collection. I was actually a little bit interested in these with picking up some of the Tamashii Nation figures like the Figure Arts and Monster Arts. And my overall love of Gundam just really was intrigued on picking these guys up. So really glad you let me borrow this to check it out, and I figured I'd review it for you guys since I was going to be going over it anyway. So without further ado, for the packaging, really like the front of this box with the overall same color scheme that Heavyarms has going on here, with a nice little profile shot of Heavyarms and some of what he can do with his name on the bottom here. The Gundam Wing logo right there, and also Tamashii Nation and Bandai. On the side of the packaging, just not too much. You see the rest of the shoulder, a little bit of the beam Gatling gun. Other side, nice picture of Heavyarms just kind of standing there. It's number 142. Top of the packaging, again, nothing too much, just tells you who he is. Side MS, 142. Back of the packaging, really awesome shot of Heavyarms just doing his own pose with the Gatling guns, homing missiles, and the micro missiles showing up. And shows you what all he comes with and what he can do. And some legal mumbo jumbo. So let's get him open up out of his cardboard prison. So now that we have Heavyarms Custom open up out of his prison, first we're going to go over some of his accessories, starting with his double barrel beam cannons, which is actually really sweet that he comes with a pair of these, because in the TV show he only has the one that he keeps on his left hand at all times throughout the course of the show. And the double barrels are more of a reference towards later in the show, because this is more of the Kai version of the Heavyarms, where you see him in the space, any of the times that they're in space, because he has the thrusters that he comes with so that he can actually maneuver around space, because the original Heavyarms is more designed to actually be a ground-based fighting unit. So when they ended up having to move on to space towards the later part of the series, he actually wasn't very adequate for that, and they had to customize him. One of the customizations was they gave him the double barrel beam Gatling cannon. But the reason why they give you two of these is since they kind of reference him as being a custom. In the movie Endless Waltz, he actually has the pair of the double barrels, so it's really cool that he is included with this figure. And overall, I just love it anyways because I just like the added firepower. But go over the details on one of these. Overall, it looks really nice. We really like the gunmetal color that we have going on the barrels here. You can see at the tip, you got the little protruding barrels at the end. Looks really nice. Also, the barrels can rotate, which is pretty sweet. Shield is this nice red with a little bit of a darker crimson on the little nubs here. What's actually pretty sweet is that the shield is removable, which it's a little bit hard to get off, but once you pop it off, I thought it was a little weird that this was actually a thing. But what you can do is actually stick this on his arm here, because he has a little nub here right on the side here, so you can stick the shield onto it, which you don't actually see him doing it in the TV show, but I just thought it was a neat little idea, so you can be protecting himself when he has his combat knife out, especially if you want to put the shield on this hand, which we'll go over in just a few. But I like that it gives you that little added option for a little extra customization. But how you get the gun actually onto his arm, which let's stick the shield back on real quick, is what you're going to want to do is right here at the base of the elbow, you're going to want to pull the arm off. So just kind of want to grip as close to the elbow as possible. Apply a little pressure and just pull off the elbow. There we go. It's a little bit hard to do. And then once you get the arm off, you're just going to want to stick it into the slot right in here, which is pretty easy to do. It just requires a little bit of effort, but once you hear it in, you'll hear a popping sound. And then you know the beam Gatling gun is in, and Looks fantastic. Really love the look of this on his arm, which is pretty much exactly like the TV show. Because initially I forgot that I actually went over his arm. I thought he actually held onto it, kind of like in the Endless Waltz version. So that was something new to me, especially when I first got him out of the box. I was just like, why can't he hold this thing? But it is very accurate for the TV show and overall looks really awesome on his arms. I'll just show you guys how he looks with the other barrel on. Just, again, want to not dislocate his arm out the top part. You want to grab here at the base of the elbow, pull it off, grab your gun, stick it back in there. Hear a popping sound. No, they're both on. And now we have the Endless Waltz version, which again looks awesome. Really like the additional firepower that he has. And next we will be moving on to the Switchblade or combat knife, whichever you want to call it. Overall, the details on the blade look very nice, where it's this nice gunmetal finish with some metallic flake in there to give it a little bit of a shine. It looks really good. Even has a nice little edge and a decent amount of point there, so just be a little bit careful here. Especially with how thin this little piece is down at the end. Just kind of worries me a little bit that this part could actually be a little bit breakable. And then for the little base here, it's just the same right as the Gundam back here. And what you can do is, actually this can go on either side of the arms, because all you do is you attach it underneath the arm pads right here. But it's recommended because it usually goes on his right hand, because that's how you see it on the TV show. And what you do is you just literally just stick it right into the peg hole here. And then once you get it in, looks really good. Very reminiscent of the TV show. And also what you can do is, this is actually posable. You can actually have the Switchblade retract towards the back of the elbow. Overall, really happy with this accessory as well, because it's kind of just something that Heavyarms is going to need if you're going to be having this guy displayed in your collection. Especially if you want to replicate it more of the TV show than the actual custom version. So really glad they included this accessory. And then we got his thruster pack, which this is for the later portion of the series, where when he needs to go into the space, he needs a little bit of added mobility, which what this helps to do is helps him maneuver around in zero-G gravity, because again, this guy was designed to be more of an Earth-based unit, so he wasn't really prepared for any kind of outer space encounters, so this was a necessary evil that he got eventually in the series. And all this does is attaches into his back, which, turning our Gundam around, right here you'll see the peg hole for the thruster pack, and all you do is just push it right in there. Pretty simple stuff. Overall, the backpack does look pretty good on our Gundam here. And also what's cool is the thrusters are actually positionable, which they can actually move around just a little bit. So you kind of position if you want him, like if you have him on your Tamashii Nation stand, which I'll actually show you guys in a few, you can have him kind of look like he's going off to the left or to the right, depending on what position you have these on. So it's really good that they give you that little bit of option. And also, see there's some added peg holes here, because what you can actually do is attach the Vulcan cannons to the backpack, which grabbing the other little stuff I need. Alright, so what he comes with is two of these little harnesses, or I guess pegs, whatever you want to call them. But what you do is you just insert them into the bagels here, which you want the base coming out towards the back here. So you just insert this into the top part, which both of these are actually very interchangeable. They can kind of go on either side, because it's literally the exact same looking size on each one. So it's nice that you don't have to worry about which one you're going to be needing to put them into. Then you just insert them in, and mine's not quite flush yet. There we go. And then you just take your Gatling cannon, which has little peg holes here on the side here. You just insert them into the little pegs down here at the base. And now we have storage for the Gatling cannons, which looks really sweet, especially if you just kind of want him just look like he's busting out into battle and about ready to just mess up everyone's day. I just like the option of the added storage, which is really sweet. Especially if you just want to be having everything displayed on your shelf and you don't want them actually holding onto the guns. It's a really nice addition for the figure. And then finally he comes with this little peg right here. What this does is you attach it underneath the base of the thruster pack, which what this does is actually lets you hook it onto the Tamashii Nation stand, which it's a bit of a pain in the butt to get in here with the Gatling guns on, but once you get it in, it's pretty easy to do. And then you take your Tamashii Nation stand, which wherever mine went. Aha, found it. So what you do, just stick the Tamashii Nation stand right into the peg hole here. And what this does is it helps to replicate him flying, which the stand's actually really loose. But again, with the thruster pack, you kind of want your Gundam to be able to actually fly around, which his feet can bend downward, so it kind of looks like he's floating in space, which is really sweet. And again, it's just, even though it doesn't come with a stand, I appreciate them at least giving us the accessory, so if we have any of these extra stands laying around, you can actually buy these on their own as well, because it comes with 3 when you pick them up, so it's kind of recommended, especially if you're into these figures or just figure arts or monster arts. It's a really good idea to have some extra stands laying around. But really love the addition of this peg here, because again, it's just with this guy being a spaced mobile unit, especially with the thruster packs and how he's supposed to be, because every time you saw this Gundam, it was pretty much him flying around in space. So it's kind of like a just necessary accessory from the have. And actually, on a second thought, I kind of wish he did come with a stand, but for how much this guy is, it's totally understandable. And then finally, we'll move on to his hands, which he comes with. A pair of open position hands in case you have him actually being able to grab onto something, which he doesn't come with anything for him to actually be holding onto, but it is nice that he comes with the option. Because in the show, you actually see him using a beam saber, which would have been really great to add to this figure, but for him being from the later portion of the series, you never actually see him using a beam saber for that. You just see it for the original Heavyarms before they actually customized it when he fought the Tall Geese with Hiroyui piloting them. And it would have been cool to have that accessory in here, but I totally understand them not coming with it. So it's cool that they gave us at least an option with the hand for if you wanted to be able to do that if you got some extra beam sabers laying around. A pair of closed fist hands because he's ready for some melee combat. And a pair of open hands in case you wanted your Gundams to be able to give themselves high fives. Then bring him for a closer look at some of his details. For his head sculpt turned out very nice. Has these really nice teal eyes here. This nice bright yellow little crest here on his, what I'm going to call his crown. It's overall very Gundam looking because a lot of these Gundams have the same kind of facial features for the head, but some of his little more distinct features is he's got these little antenna things sticking out of the side here, which is definitely the scariest part of this Gundam, because this is pretty much the part of the entire thing that I imagine would be very easily breakable because they feel very fragile to the touch. So I just want to be slamming this guy's head into anything hard because these things I would imagine would be very prone to breakage. He even has a little bit of purple here in these little vents here on the side of his head. Look really sweet. And then coming to his shoulders, you have his little machine guns here. They're sticking out of the top of his shoulders. Looks very good. Has this nice copper color on the inside of here. Then his chest looks really nice as well. It has these nice blue arrow shapes coming across the front portion of his chest. Some nice yellows and grays here. What's actually really cool about this chest too is this piece actually opens up to reveal his hidden Gatling guns, which look really cool. Don't really do anything on the inside, so they're just mainly there for decoration purposes, but again, it looks really sweet and helps to add to his overall firepower. Then for his shoulder pads is where he has his homing missiles, which this part flips open, revealing the missiles, which looks really sweet as well. Again, adds to his overall firepower here. It's kind of weird though, is when you have it closed up, you can still kind of see the missiles here at the top, but it's not too bad. Even has a little bit of thrusters here underneath his shoulder pad, looks really sweet. Then the back portion, you don't see any kind of missile pads or missile launching anything, because this part doesn't actually open or do anything. It's just mainly the front here, which is accurate to the show. And for his arms, look pretty good as well. Has this nice red with the white here for his bicep area. Still have his open palm slappy hand. Then coming along the legs here, these little flaps here, or what I'm going to call his little skirt, actually flips up and has some decent articulation here, which is really nice because it helps to add to his overall posability. Just the back portion, all that does is actually just straight up pops off and doesn't have any articulation points there. But they look really nice, each individually sculpted with this nice red color here and a darker red for these little nubs sticking on the little portions here. This very nice bright yellow here with a little bit of gold here for these little rings here. Looks really sweet. Then coming down the rest of the leg here, you get his micro missile pods, which this part actually flips open to reveal the micro missiles. Looks really sweet, and just overall just love how many little hidden compartments and weapons are on this gun, especially for his size, because it's pretty much your normal standard size figure, and he just has a lot going on with him, which is really nice. And then you have his Gundam feet, which nothing really else exciting going on here, but does have some details underneath on the soles. So overall, in terms of detail, this Gundam is fantastic. Really love all the little hidden compartments. The details look very nice, very reminiscent of the anime. Then for his head sculpt, can look up, down, left, and right. Has a hard time rotating all around, but it is possible. Then for his shoulders, can move outwards because they have a little hinge here, which is really sweet. So you kind of have them like Look like he's flexing and showing off some of his pecs, which is pretty sweet. And then his shoulder pad can move actually up and down, which is really cool. And there's a lot of play here at the shoulder, with it being able to go up, down, rotates all the way around. So get a lot of movement there. Bend at the elbow. Has a rotation here at the upper part of the bicep, which mine's actually kind of popping out here a little bit. For his hand, has a nice pivot to it, could rotate all the way around. No rotation here at the elbow. Then for his waist, has a nice little wiggle to it. Decent amount of tummy crunch. Can rotate all the way around, but it takes a little bit of finessing to do that because a lot of these little skirt pads get in the way. And then the skirts can move out about that far. Same with the front parts here. The back, again, isn't articulated, it just is on this little peg here, so that doesn't actually move. But they can move out about that far. So the legs can move out about this far without popping out the ball joints. They can go forward about yay far, backwards about that far. Has a rotation at the upper part of the thigh. Has a bend here at the knee, which is actually a pretty crazy bend here because it does have the double joint here for the knees. And then for the feet, can bend down, bend up. The back portion does not have really any articulation. The little, not sure what to actually call this part of the boot, but it can actually move around, which is pretty sweet. And has a decent amount of pivot to it. So overall, this articulation, really amazing. The only real letdown is here at the upper part of the legs, but you don't really ever see him doing any kind of crazy positions using his legs and doing like flying side kicks and whatnot. So even though it has a little bit of hindrance of the skirt, it's nothing I can't live without. So for some quick comparison, here he is with the SH Monsters Heisei Godzilla and the Ultra Act Ultraman Tiga, which he is slightly smaller than the pair, but it's kind of to be expected because the Gundams really weren't as large as these guys anyways. And here he is with the NECA's Anchorage Attack Gypsy Danger and Godzilla 1984/5. And here he is with the Hasbro Transformers Combiner Wars Optimus Prime Voyager class and the Power Rangers Super Mega Force Mighty Morphin Dino Megazord. And here he is next to the Jakks Pacific Godzilla, who doesn't quite fit into the shot anymore. So overall, Heavyarms Custom here, for him actually being my first Robot Damashii Nation I've ever actually got to play around with, I'm actually very impressed with his overall articulation and detail. They are very awesome and pretty spot on to the television show. Love all the accessories that this Gundam comes with, and also all the little hidden compartments just make this guy for a very imposing figure. Love the extra beam Gatling gun that he comes with, which is a nice homage to the Endless Waltz version of Heavyarms Kai, and I literally can't think of any extra accessories that this Gundam needs. And with this guy's price tag being at around $70, I don't think that's too bad, especially for this guy being a slightly older Gundam and with just all the stuff that he comes with. Seems pretty reasonable to me, so if you guys are really into Gundam Wing, then Troy Barton's Gundam should definitely be a part of your collection. And now, sadly, I have to return this guy to Travis. Woe is me. So what do you guys think? Have you guys seen Gundam Wing? What's your favorite Gundam, or is G Gundam just more your thing? Which I actually might be considering ordering some of the G Gundam figures from this line. So please let us know in the comments. We'll post our pictures on Facebook. If you want to click the link description below. Please don't be afraid to share this video around. If you like this and want to see more stuff like this, please give us a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.